everyone, and welcome back to my sewing room. I'm Rebecca, and today I thought we would revisit a little series that I have started where I explore pieces, extant antique pieces from my collection. So far we have done a dress from the 1860s and a bodice from the 1890s. So I thought we would go someplace else and go with just about a turn of the century bodice. I found it on eBay, and it's definitely one of my more fragile pieces, but I think it's really just lovely. So let's dive in.
This is the lovely bodice. As far as I know, it dates to around the turn of the century, just into the early 1900s. It is a silk and cotton bodice. Parts are silk, like the neck yoke here and neck band and all of the interior, and parts are cotton, like the exterior fabric, main fabric of the bodice, as well, I believe, as all of the netting. The closures are hidden under this front lap with all of these lovely pleats, and it has very manufactured hooks and eyes closing it up. The inside seams are all finished beautifully. Unfortunately, the interior of the bodice is majorly breaking down, and that is really where all of the fragility of this bodice comes from. There are only 3 pieces of boning in the bodice, each with a little flossing at the top. And as far as I can tell, there were no other bones at any point. This, I believe, was just used to hold up the skirt because it's weirdly tacked down. I don't know if that is a later thing coming from a repair or if that was original. I don't know if this silk was weighted or if it's just breaking down on its own, but unfortunately it is very fragile. You can see that the net lace comes right up to the arm's eye. And you can see some piecing there in the silk near the arm's eye as well. Those flashes of yellow are actually bits of the selvage showing up near the arm's eye. You can see the cotton outer has been folded in here, and the manufactured hook and eye tape placed inside. Nice pleated waistband out of a much stronger silk. The silk satin on the exterior does not have any breaking down whatsoever. I find the manufactured hook and eye tape very fascinating. There's a lovely long collar stay still here in the collar. Only one remains, but I'm sure there were more. It's a very tall collar. Sorry about the lighting. My phone likes to change the lighting in here. And as we close it back up, you can see where the 2 layers are right here, the fitted layer and then the sort of powder pigeon layer over the top. And those hooks and eyes are every other, so you have alternating hooks and eyes on each side. It seems to be a very common feature of antique bodices. I have yet to do that in many of my own bodices though, but I suppose I should try. The ends just butt up together, but they are covered over by the lapped decorative finished edge, which hooks and eyes right here at the waist. These hooks go to little metal bars that are going up on the bodice. And then these hooks here on the yoke go to bars that go around the neckline until they reach just past the shoulder. The yoke portion stops at the shoulder, but the collar goes around and closes in the center back. Now the standing collar section is lined with what I believe is a silk chiffon, but the lace or net section in the yoke is actually unlined. It's the only place where it is unlined. Down here on the sleeve, the entire sleeve is also lined with that probably silk chiffon and goes all the way up the same way to protect the netting from catching on the wearer's rings or jewelry or even their hands. It's finished down here with some tape, and at some point I believe there was trim also on this bodice. It closes with some hooks and eyes, I believe 4 hooks and eyes on each sleeve to end it in a very narrow wrist. This is where I believe there was trim anywhere here that is white on the bodice. So that's the bottom of the sleeve, the bottom of the oversleeve, and around the yoke. My guess is that there was probably once trim there, possibly the same sort of trim as this neck lace, though the pattern on the lace at the neck looks slightly more modern, so I'm really not sure on that. It's actually a sheer cotton, the embroidered cotton of the bodice, and you can see right through it, and yet this cotton seems to be doing just fine. It's really not the fragile part. The fragile part of this bodice is the silk that is used as the lining. Everything else is actually in fantastic condition. So it's a really nice piece to look at, just one that you have to be very careful in handling. Something interesting here is you can actually see kind of the broken bottom piece of the whalebone. I assume that that's probably slipped down and would have used to have been protected. There are also these odd thread-wrapped eyes on the bodice that I can't tell what they're there or what they go to. There are no hooks on the other side that correspond to these eyes, and they're in the wrong places for the hooks that are on the bodice lap to have possibly once gone to there. So it's really a bit of a mystery to me what they were for. The front of the lap here is all finely pleated, what I presume to be silk that's been pleated into a band where the hooks are, and closes nicely just over this edge. Obviously, it could use a bit of pressing, but I think it's all right for its age. These are the bars on the shoulder where the collar yoke hooks into. Amazingly enough, there are a whopping 47 hooks and bars or eyes in this bodice, not counting those thread-wrapped eyes. This is the back of the bodice. You can see it comes and pleats nicely into the center back of the waistband. And you can see just how sheer it is where the silk has shattered inside. This is where the collar closes up to. So you can see all of those hooks on the yoke, and they come up until you also have the hooks on the collar, which comes around and closes with the bars on the center back of the collar. I love the complex closures that begin around this era, and I can't imagine they would have been possible without a lady's maid of some sort. The back of the bodice as its whole. I wanted to show you some quick measurements. This bodice has an approximately 25-inch waist. Unlike the last 2 bodices that I have presented, this is too small to fit on my dress form. I can't pull the bodice taut because of the condition of the silk, but it appears to be about a 31-inch bust. And that's the bodice.
Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more of this series, please go ahead and drop a line in the comments and just tell me if you like it or if you don't like it, if you want to see more. I do have many more pieces in my collection, and I really look forward to doing about 1 piece per month to show you how these antique garments are made. If you want to see more videos from me, please go ahead and click the subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a video. I post about 1 video a week, but if you'd like to see more from me in between the videos, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Lady Rebecca Fashions, where I post just about once a day or more with a lot of historical costuming, and right now Disney bounds with the April Disney Homebound Challenge for all of those of us who are stuck at home and have no reason to dress up. I highly recommend it. And I will see you in my next video. Happy sewing!